Hello, everyone. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk about science. On my previous episode, I briefly touched upon this fact. And the fact is that scientists always, they put the cart before the horse. The job of a scientist, right, is to explore the world and discover the world. And then, discover the world and how it works, right? That's the job. That's the job of a scientist, to discover and learn about the world and how it works, the scientific laws and principles of the world. But what many scientists forget is that they keep talking about what the world can or can't do. They keep saying it's impossible for X to happen. It's impossible for Y to happen. For example, Einstein, states that it's impossible for energy to be created or destroyed. This is a flawed way of thinking. Instead of saying it's impossible for energy to be created or destroyed, it should say what? Einstein should have said, we do not know how energy can be created or destroyed. What we do know is that all we've seen is what? The energy can be changed from one form to another. Do you know why you shouldn't say it's impossible for energy to be created or destroyed? You're making a claim. The human race, we haven't understood the whole world yet. The world around us is infinite. We are finite creatures. Meaning, we'll only ever have a finite grasp of the infinite world. The human race right now does not have a full understanding of the world, so we shouldn't be dictating what the world can or can't do. And there's so many times that scientists have been wrong, and they've been wrong so many times. Every time, it's like almost every time they say the world can or can't do something like this, they're always proven wrong in the future. Why? It's because they keep making claims. They keep trying to tell you that what the world can or can't do, as if they have a full 100% understanding of everything in this world. No scientists have a full 100% understanding of everything in this world. It is impossible to have 100% understanding of the world because the world is infinite. Just like the human body is created by, the atoms, the subatomic particles. Subatomic particles create atoms. Atoms create molecules. Molecules create what? Life, or single-cell organisms. Single-cell organisms create the human body. The human body comes together to create the human population. The human population creates all these little cars, gadgets, houses, and all these gizmos. All these gizmos come together to create more things. It's just like an endless loop of creation upon creation upon creation. Right? That's how it is with the laws of nature as well. The laws of nature works like a clock. Smaller wheels come together to create bigger wheels. Bigger wheels come together to create bigger wheels. Bigger wheels come together to create even more bigger wheels. Smaller laws come together to create larger laws. Larger laws come together to create even larger laws. It's like an endless, infinite clock, where the smaller, tiny laws create bigger laws, which create bigger laws, which creates bigger laws, and it just goes on infinitely. The laws and rules that we know are only tiny compared to the whole world. The world is infinite. We will never fully have a full grasp of everything. So when scientists start telling you what can or can't happen, when they don't have a full understanding of the world, it's not a sign of someone who's smart. It's a sign of someone who's very closed-minded. Only a closed-minded person will tell you what's possible and what's impossible when they don't have a full understanding of the world. It is not impossible for God to exist. It is not. Back in the days, scientists used to say that, life couldn't exist outside of the planet. life couldn't exist in space, right? Guess what? There are life forms that that scientists have taken to space and could still survive in the vacuum of space. So what does that tell you? It tells you that life can exist without an atmosphere. There are single cell organisms in this world that can exist in the vacuum of space. When scientists start making claims, about what's impossible, that's when they start going towards this, the path of fiction. They don't know how the world works yet. So how come they keep dictating what's possible and what's impossible? Back in the days, sharks, back in the days before we had a full understanding of sharks, people used to say that sharks were incapable of killing humans. They used to say sharks do not kill humans. Guess what? Humans get hunted by sharks on a yearly basis, proving scientists wrong. Scientists used to say that life couldn't exist on extremely hazardous places. Guess what? They're tiny little bacteria that live in the mouths of active volcanoes. These extremely dangerous, extremely high temperature places can still have life. Scientists do not dictate what can or can't happen, what can or can't exist. It's not the scientist's job to tell us what can or can't exist. It's not the scientist's job to tell us what's possible or what's impossible. The scientist's job is to just tell us the rules that they found in the world and live, based off those rules. Not to tell us what's possible or impossible. From this point of view of Einstein, it is impossible for energy to be created or destroyed. From the point of view of God, the creator of everything, there's no such thing as that, as that impossibility. God created the world, right? It means the world can also be destroyed. Creation and destruction come together as one. For there to be a beginning, there has to be an end. For there to be an end, there has to be a beginning. Logic dictates that, for there to be a beginning, there has to be an end. For time to begin, something must end. Right? So, chances are, and the whole concept of creation and destruction is the same thing as change, Change, creation and destruction is change. When something gets destroyed, right? Something gets created. When something gets created, something gets destroyed. That's the very concept of change. As changing from one form to another. It still follows the same rule that Einstein stated. But the thing is, the word in of Einstein should be rephrased. Einstein shouldn't be the one telling us what energy can or can't do. Why? Because he doesn't have a full 100% understanding of the world. The rules of this world are infinite. Until we have an infinite view of the world, we shouldn't be telling what the world can or can't do. We don't have, back in the days, scientists used to say we have, X amount of, we had X amount of human organs in the body. And now, recently, scientists are discovering more organs within the human body. Back in the days, we thought it was impossible for light to become, to turn physical. Now scientists are finding out that, light can be, light can take a physical form. There's a physical form of light. Light can become, physical. As in, it can harden into a physical form. Right now scientists are saying it's impossible for life to be on Mars, life to be on X or Y, without realizing that human beings, right, are made up of atoms. If humans are intelligent, it means atoms are intelligent. If humans are alive, it means atoms are alive. Without humans, there's no, without atoms, there's no such thing as human. Our definition of life is very flawed. We do not see atoms as alive, yet without atoms, we will not be alive. The very source of our existence, the very source of our life are atoms, yet we don't even consider atoms alive. Don't you think there's something wrong when the very thing that creates us is what we keep thinking is dead? Our definition of life, the scientific definition of life is flawed. This is why, when scientists ended up discovering robots, right? No, not robots. When scientists ended up discovering viruses, they created a whole new definition for viruses because viruses aren't considered alive. Viruses do not fit the definition of life. Yet viruses behave just like living things. And what's common between viruses and living things? Atoms. Atoms create viruses, just like atoms create humans. That should tell you something. The source of life are atoms. The source of life is energy itself. Basic logic dictates that if humans are intelligent, atoms must be intelligent. The part can never be greater than the whole. Humans are atoms. Humans are intelligent. Atoms are intelligent. Humans are atoms. Humans think. It means atoms think. Humans are atoms. Humans talk. It means atoms talk. You understand this basic, tautology? This basic logic? If humans think and humans are atoms, it means atoms think. If humans are alive and humans are atoms, it means atoms are alive. This entire world is one massive, intelligent, living organism. This entire world is one massive God. And that's what it states in the Bible. God is intelligent. God is omnipresent. Right? If God is intelligent and God is omnipresent, it means everything in this world should be intelligent. Right? And guess what? Basic facts prove it. If humans are intelligent, it means atoms are intelligent. If atoms are intelligent, it means energy itself is intelligent. And guess what? This entire world is energy. This entire world is intelligent. This entire world is omnipresent. This entire world is God. Just like it states in the Bible, we're living inside the body of God. We are intelligent because atoms are intelligent. Atoms are intelligent because God is intelligent. You cannot separate humans from atoms. So why do we keep thinking that humans are more intelligent than atoms when humans are atoms? The same atoms that create humans are the same atoms that create the planets around us, are the same atoms that create viruses and other single-cell organisms. It's not that, the world is filled with lifeless things. It's that the whole world is alive. It's not that there's not life on Mars. It's that Mars itself is alive. The atoms that make up Mars is alive. Just not human life. It is atomic life. Just like viruses are alive, atoms are alive in their own way. The worldview of scientists is flawed. They keep ignoring the facts that life in the end are just atoms. If life in the end are just atoms, it means atoms are alive by default, because you can't take atoms from humans. You can't take atoms from life. When you say life, you're saying atoms. The only difference between a rock and a human being is that the atoms in the rock behave like a rock and the atoms in a human behaves like a human. The source of our intelligence is the same. Just because an atom behaves like a rock does not mean it's not intelligent. Just because a human goes to sleep does not mean a human is not intelligent. Being in a dormant state does not mean you're not intelligent. Being unable to move does not mean you're not intelligent. Cells communicate with their own, in their own way. Humans communicate in their own way. Atoms communicate in their own ways. Viruses communicate in their own ways. Plants communicate in their own way. Energy communicates in its own way. You're living in a massive, infinitely intelligent being, and that being is God. That's why God is omnipresent. This is why in the Bible it states, God states that I create all existences because only I exist. God created everything because only God exists. You're living inside the body of God. You're living inside an omnipresent being, inside the body of an omnipresent being. Scientists keep forgetting that basic fact. The basic fact that atoms are alive. If humans are alive, it means atoms are alive. If atoms are alive, it means subatomic particles are alive. If subatomic particles are alive, it means what? It means energy itself is alive. If humans can think, it means atoms can think. If atoms can think, it means subatomic particles can think. If subatomic particles can think, it means what? Energy itself can think. It's capable of thought. Our entire world is one massive being, and that being is God. That being is the one guiding us, controlling the whole world. That being is the one that created all the laws. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the world, and the world was with God, and the world was God. That's the very first verse of the Bible. Read your Bible and understand the world. Do not listen to these deluded scientists that keep telling you that it's impossible for this to happen. It's impossible for this to happen. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. These guys are the most closed-minded people in the world, and they're always proven wrong. They will always be proved wrong as time goes on, because they keep dictating what life can or can't do, as if they're the ones controlling the world, as if they're gods controlling the world. They don't know what life is. They don't know how this world works. They only have a small understanding of it, yet they're already making claims of what's possible and what's impossible. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's good health and safety. Amen.